Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're building off the last two episodes of the show, highlighting another of my 5 favorite features. This time around the site, we're stepping away from Sharp Charts, stepping away from ACP, talking about some of the other tools and features that you have available to you around Stock Charts. Things I use every day, 5 of my favorites. So we got a lot to cover. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel where we dive into the site, dig into the features, show you around the tools, and help you get more value out of Stock Charts. That's our mission here on Stock Charts in Focus. Every Friday, of course, we do this show at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Stock Charts TV, but also up on our YouTube channel after that and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. If you are new to the show, my name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at Stock Charts. If you've been with us for a while, welcome back. So good to have you. Today, really what we're doing is building off of the episodes that we've done in the last 2 weeks. I admit it, I got a little carried away. I got pretty excited, had some fun with those episodes that we did the last couple of weeks, and heard some good feedback from all of you. So the last 2 weeks, what we did was we highlighted 5 of my favorite features in Sharp Charts. That's where we did first. That's our original primary charting tool that we're so well known for. I'm sure many of you are Sharp Charts users out there. But then the next week we did ACP. That's our new interactive advanced charting platform. Highlighted 5 of my absolute favorite features over there. So if you didn't catch the episodes we did the last 2 weeks, definitely go check those out. Again, up on our YouTube channel, they're on the on-demand platform, StockChartsTV.com, and you can find those in the episodes tab on the actual site at StockCharts.com/TV. So lots of ways to find those last couple of episodes. We will put some links in the descriptions down below as well, but definitely check those out. And I had such a good time highlighting 5 things that I use in both platforms, Sharp Charts and ACP, every single day. So what we're going to do today is a very similar episode, 5 of my favorites, but we're really stepping away from those primary tools and we're looking at some of the other things that you have available to you around the rest of Stock Charts. So going to be a good episode as we kind of tour different corners of the website, show you how you can bring some of these new tools into your approach. So without further ado, let's get going. So we are starting here on the Charts and Tools page. We start here quite a lot. Of course, I always like to remind people, this is a great directory of all the different tools and resources that you have available to you on Stock Charts. Tons and tons here. You can really kind of breeze through everything, get these little descriptions. It's a very, very helpful resource for finding tools like some of the ones that we're going to look at today. What we're going to start with, though, is something that's accessible from a couple of different pages. You can actually get here from the dashboard as well. But we're going to talk about the sector summary tool. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit to our summary pages group. And under this group, you see there's a card right here for sector summary. Now, the sector summary is a tool that some of you might be using simply to analyze sectors, but there's actually a lot more sort of beneath the scenes there, behind the scenes, under the covers. You can really dive deeper into the sector summary. So we're going to give this a click, head over to the sector summary, and we're going to show you how to get more out of this page. This is a very fantastic resource, especially for stock discovery, believe it or not. So here we are on the sector summary, and you can see at the top of the page, we've got sector summary for the S&P sector. So these are the 11 sectors of the market. Of course, you know, the big groups like technology, energy, industrials, materials, healthcare, the big sector spider groups. So for starters, this page is fantastic simply for seeing what's happening with the sectors, what's happening in some of these different groups within the market, these different corners of the market. Now on this page, of course, you've got everything for you right here. You can sort this in a couple of different ways. By default, it's going to be sorted by percent change for the current day, for the latest session. So this is going to give you a sense of kind of what sectors are leading. On the day that we're recording this, energy is leading, followed by industrials and materials. We've got utilities kind of lagging, but actually all of these groups are up. We can see that all of the sectors are up on the day. Now you can also sort this in another way that I like to do it though, which is by the scooter rank. So you actually do have scooter scores for these sector funds because they're ETFs. They are part of, as you can see, the ETF universe. And so we can actually use scooter scores to rank the sectors technically. That's something that I love to do because it's a consistent methodology applied to all of these different sectors. So when you're using that scooter score, that's our StockCharts technical rank, you can actually rank these sectors by scooter. And that's going to put the strongest technical sectors right at the top and the lowest, sort of the weakest technical sectors right at the bottom. So this is sort of how I use the page. I love to come here, check in on how they're doing on the day. You can also change the period actually to see how some of these have done over, for instance, the last 3 months. We can change that. Now we've got percent change over the last 3 months, but we can still come in here and sort that by the current scooter score. So you can do some really interesting things with this page to actually sort of dive into the sectors. But let's say we wanted to go sort of to the next level, because like I said, there's actually a lot more sort of behind the scenes in this page. You can really sort of dive down to the next level. So here we can see that over the last 3 months, the biggest gainer has actually been technology. We've got about a 10.6%, 10.7% gain in XLK, the technology sector. We can also see that that is the strongest on the scooter score. So technically, XLK is actually the strongest right now as well of all the sectors. So we might want to dive into the technology sector. It's clearly a great place to be for the current market climate. So let's go into that sector, see what's happening sort of at the next level down into the industry group level and the stock level. All we've got to do that is give the name a click. So now you can see that we're actually on a slightly different page. We're still looking at a 3-month period. We've set that up and that holds as we go forward. But you can see that this menu right at the top of the page has actually changed a little bit. It says sector summary for the technology sector. So when we open this up now, we can actually see all of these different groups that we can sort of dive into. We can get back up to the top level by clicking all S&P sectors up here, or actually by using these breadcrumbs right here. But what we've actually done now is we've gone to the next level down. Below the sectors are all of the industry groups of the market. In this case, we're using the Dow Jones industry groups. We've also created a scooter group for that. So you can do the same thing. You can actually rank all of these industry groups by scooter. So we might want to do that. So now what we're looking at is a 3-month time period. We've gone into the technology sector. We're looking at all of the industry groups within that technology sector. And we can see that the strongest technically has been software, or is software right now, because these scooter scores are sort of up to date. If we sort this by percent change, we can actually flip that. We can see that software is also the biggest gainer over the last 3 months. So clearly software is a very, very strong place to be. So think for a second about what we've done. We've found the strongest sector in the market, which is technology. We've taken a step into that sector by going down to the industry group level. And now we've actually found the strongest industry group within that sector. So a little bit more of a narrow group. Well, we can take this to the next level here in the sector summary. We can give this a click, hit software. And now what we're looking at, as you can see up here, sector summary for the software industry group. Now we've actually sort of gone to that next level down, and we're looking at all of the individual stocks within the software industry group. So we've got a very strong sector, strongest sector in the market. We've got the strongest industry group within that sector. And now we can start to look for some of the strongest stocks within that industry group and that sector. This is a fantastic way to find strong stocks. You really start at that sector level and you go from the top down, drilling into the strongest sector, strongest industry group, and finding some of the strongest stocks along the way. Now we can see that we've got some huge percentage gainers in here. For instance, Greenridge with a 950% gain over the last 3 months. Some crazy stuff going on there. We can change this down to be, well, let's just go back to our intraday action. So here's what's going on today. Greenridge still with a massive, massive move. Wow. But what I like to do at this point is, again, sort by scooter. Now, this is the interesting part. You can actually sort this page by sort of 2 factors with the scooter and the universe. So what I like to do is sort by universe, and I'll actually flip this here. So we've got our small cap stocks, then we've got our mid cap stocks, as you can see here, and then we're going to have our large caps down below that. So we sort of grouped all of those different scooter groups together. And then from there, we can sort this by scooter. Oh, actually we hit scooter first and then universe. Now we can look at all of our large caps together from top down. So you can see that the top ranked scooter score in this industry group is actually Bill.com, part of the large cap group. We can start to dive into all of these and sort of filter through this list. These are all going to be very, very strong stocks within this industry group, within the sector, the technology sector. So strong software stocks within a strong technology sector. So this is a great way to find strong stocks. We can, because we've kind of double sorted this, we can scroll all the way down. Once we get to the mid cap group, now we're looking at the top of that mid cap group. We can see Asana has been incredibly strong in the mid cap group, Workiva incredibly strong in the mid cap group. So we can start to sort of work through this list and use this as a way to find strong stocks. So for instance, if we pull up Bill.com, we can give the name a click now. That's going to take us over to a sharp chart. And we can see that Bill has been on an absolute run, a very, very strong stock. Sort of made a breakout a couple of months ago, big pop on earnings. Nice chart here from Bill.com. So using the sector summary to find stocks like this is an incredibly powerful way to make sure that you're in the strongest industry group and the strongest sector. So the sector summary is absolutely one of my go-tos around the rest of the site, my first favorite tool that we're going to cover today. So we are on to my second favorite tool that we are going to cover on today's show. We're going to come up here and jump to the dashboard. Of course, the members dashboard. I like to call this the heart and soul of your StockCharts account. Kind of a funny one to cover, really, because there's so much here. I almost wanted to just highlight everything on the dashboard, but we've actually done shows on that in the past. We've really covered a lot of the different features of the dashboard. The key that I want to highlight here today is one very specific part, which is kind of the chart list snapshot feature. But I want to remind everyone, this page is actually quite customizable. We'll take a quick tour of it really fast. Over here on the left, you actually have the member tools section. So when I was saying that you can access some of those tools from the dashboard in addition to that charts and tools page, this is kind of a mini version of that charts and tools page. So for instance, we've got that summary pages section. We've got the sector summary right there. So you've got access to a lot of those tools right here in the member tools section. You've got your market overview though in the middle with your different tabs across the top. And by default, you're going to have one sort of customizable panel right in here. I've set that up actually as the sector summary. Makes it really easy for me to get to that sector summary page, but it's kind of nice for me to have the market overview and then the sector summary. And then when I dive into this next row, I've got sort of the individual stock levels. I've got large caps here with the S&P 500 and mid caps with the S&P 400. But you can change any of these simply by opening up that more list and choosing what you want to see. You can turn on additional pieces of the dashboard by coming up here to the little gears icon and making sure that you have any of these checked. So if you want to add scans and alerts to your dashboard, maybe you want to add that second row of additional data panels, you can do that simply by turning this on. You can even add an articles feed and StockCharts TV right to your dashboard, so you can really start to customize this page. What we're looking at today is the ChartList Panels section. So I've turned that on, and it's a feature that I want to highlight for you today because it's one that I love having on my dashboard. So in order to get this, make sure you've got that ChartList Panels group checked from your dashboard preferences. Again, look for that little gears icon in the top right corner. So we're going to scroll down. We've got our additional data panels, and below that, you can see that we've actually got two other panels. Now, for me, for my approach to the market, I actually like to sort of group my different holdings, all my different positions into sort of buckets. This is something I've written about quite a lot. Actually, wrote a lot about in my book, Tensile Trading, and if any of you have read that book. But I've got these different groups to my portfolio. I've got a core group and I've got an explore group. I've actually got one that's even more kind of long-term, just sort of set it and forget it stuff, which I call the super core. So I've actually got three buckets now. But super core, core, and explore. Realistically, the way that it kind of breaks down is that I've got ETFs in my core group. Generally, those are a little bit long-term, a lot of kind of thematic plays in that group, but mostly ETFs in my core group, what I call my core group. And then I've got my explore positions, which is typically individual stocks. That's where I have my individual stocks. For me, that's no more than 20. But the point is, I've got these kind of different groups, and I've got many different portfolios, but I kind of bring them all together in StockCharts by creating chart lists where I can take all those different portfolios, take all those different accounts, retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, all that. I can sort of put all that stuff together into a couple of different chart lists on StockCharts that helps me kind of monitor everything in one place, kind of aggregates all those portfolios. So the point is, I've got these different buckets to my account, and I think about them in kind of different ways, but I monitor them every day. So I've got my core positions that I want to keep an eye on. I've got my explore positions that I want to keep an eye on. And I've got chart lists for both of those buckets. So for me, those are the things I own. Those are actually represented right here on the dashboard by turning on that ChartList Panels row. I kind of call this the ChartList snapshot feature. What this adds to my dashboard is actually any chart list that I want to see. So you can set this up when you add this row. When you turn that on with the gears icon up above, you get this other little gears icon. And this allows you to actually choose sort of which chart list out of your account you want. So in my case, I've set up, like I said, those different chart lists for the different kind of buckets in my portfolios. So I've got my core positions here. I hit update. And now what that brings in is it takes all the holdings in that chart list and it puts them right on the dashboard for me with this kind of customizable data panel. So I can actually see all of the names. I can see all the symbols. When I hover over any of these, I actually get a little mini chart of it. And then I get the latest performance data. So I can actually come in here. I can sort this by percent change from high to low or low to high. So you can see all of those things sort of at a glance right from the dashboard. So I've got that for my core positions right here. It's actually paginated, so we can sort of jump to the next page. But I've got all of those really easy to monitor right here on my dashboard. And then I've got all my explore positions. And the same thing goes. We can sort this by percent change. We can sort of jump to the next page. And I can change which list this is. We can actually add to it right from here. There's lots of stuff that we can do from these kind of chart list panels that we add to the dashboard. But you might want to add, for instance, your portfolio. Maybe you've got your brokerage account, you've got your retirement account. So you want to put your brokerage account in one and your retirement account in another. Maybe you've got all of your positions in one chart list, just like I have. And so you want to put that over here, and maybe you want to put your watch list over on this one. The point is, whatever your kind of use case for this feature is, adding these panels right to your dashboard kind of puts everything right there for you. So I use this page as an incredible tool just kind of to analyze everything in the markets and my portfolios all at once. Because realistically, I've got the market overview here. I've got the sector summary right there, so I can go from the market into the sector level. I've got some of the stocks that are actually moving the markets in the S&P 500 and the S&P 400. I've got other things like the ticker cloud, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And then I've even got my portfolios, my positions right here on the dashboard for me. And all of this is updating throughout the day. And with features like that little mini chart, I can even sort of pull up a quick chart and see what's happening in any of those positions. So turning on this chart list panel row is an incredibly helpful tool. One that I definitely wanted to remind everyone is there, or if you've never seen this before, you can go play around with that, sort of bring some of your chart lists right into the dashboard in a really kind of easy to follow kind of way. So that is my second favorite feature that we're highlighting on today's show. Now, our third favorite feature that we're going to highlight on today's show, we're kind of staying in that chart list world. We're going to talk about ChartList Reports. This is something that I've turned on for a lot of the chart lists in my account. Makes it super, super easy to monitor the different stocks, funds, indexes, end of day indexes, mutual funds, anything that you can imagine. Makes it really easy to monitor that stuff without even having to visit StockCharts, frankly. We send a report right to your email, right to your inbox. You can get that on your tablet, on your phone, on your computer, wherever you have your email. We're going to send you a snapshot of any chart list at the end of the trading day. So we'll jump down into some chart lists. We'll show you how this works right now. To get into a chart list, we're going to come down here and I'm going to pull up, let's do this one. So we are now in a chart list. Now, many of you are probably familiar with this, but you can create these chart lists, add symbols to them. This is how you save charts on StockCharts, save symbols on StockCharts, and you can build up these different lists. So for instance, you might create a chart list that has your portfolio in it. You might create a chart list that has your watch list in it. Maybe you even want to create a chart list that's just what are the major indexes, and sort of customize your list of indexes that you want to view. You can create chart lists for really anything, but the ChartList Reports feature is going to make it even easier to monitor what's in those chart lists. Super easy to turn on and super easy to turn off if you ever want to turn it off as well. When you come to the summary view for any of your chart lists, you make sure that you open up this menu here and check summary. So you're on the summary view. This is where you've got sort of that data view of what's happening, the latest kind of price view, what's happening for all of the different things in your chart list. And at the top, you notice that you have these little checkboxes for send daily report and send weekly report. So to turn on the ChartList Reports, all you've got to do is turn those on. You just check those little boxes, and that's going to tell us, hey, at the end of the trading day or at the end of the trading week, send me a report of what happened in this chart list. What happened to all of the different securities in this chart list? Super, super easy to use. But again, this is going to get sent to your phone if you've got your email set up on your phone. That's how I have it. So, at the end of the trading day, I can just kind of pull up my phone. I get an email right there. I can see all the stuff that I own right in my inbox. Makes it really easy to sort of track what's happening at the end of the day. It's also great for the weekly report too, because that's going to take the weekly performance. So it's very, very helpful to see, not just what happened from day to day, but also how did all this stuff move for the week as a whole. So you can turn on that weekly report, and at the end of the trading week, we'll send you a summary for anything in this list for the full week. So the ChartList Reports feature, one that I use a ton. Again, I use this for portfolios. Here we're looking at one of my portfolios, so I've got that turned on. Daily and weekly report for a portfolio. We can even use this for something like my daily equities list. So if we open that up, this is a chart list that I've created that has a ton of the major market indexes, like I was saying. So we've got things like the average stock, the value line arithmetic index, VTI, the total market, down into some of the major exchanges, the NYSE and the NASDAQ, and then groups like the S&P 100, 500, 400, 600, micro caps, the Dow, all of this stuff in one chart list. So I've turned on the daily report, I've turned on the weekly report, and it's really nice at the end of the trading day. I can see all of this stuff in one place. Makes it very, very easy to see what happened really kind of across every group in the market. Not just the NYSE, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500, but because I've sort of customized this list and put all of these different major indexes in it, I can see all of this stuff in one place. It gets sent right to my inbox. Very, very helpful feature. And again, the one that I actually love the most is really that weekly report at the end of the week, getting a summary of what happened for the entire week. It's always nice to see those weekly numbers, not just the dailies. So that's that chart list report for daily and weekly for all of your chart lists. Very, very helpful. That is our third favorite feature that we're highlighting on today's show. So we are moving on to our fourth favorite feature. On today's show, we're actually going to jump back to the charts and tools page. I'm going to scroll you down to the card for Predefined Scans. This is another one that we've talked about on the show a little while ago, but a fantastic resource for anyone, especially if you're new to scanning and you're trying to kind of get up and running with it. So our Predefined Scan page does exactly what it says in the name. These are all scans that we've created, popular scans for important moves, popular scans that people are always kind of trying to run. Things like new 52-week highs, things like bullish 50 and 200-day moving average crossovers. We can do gaps. We can do even some candlestick patterns, bullish engulfing patterns, bearish engulfing patterns, tons and tons of stuff. But these are kind of the most popular scans that we get requests for. People saying, how do I create a scan for this? Well, with our Predefined Scans page, we've put all of that in one place, and we have done really the work for you. All you've got to do to run any of these scans and see what's triggering that criteria is you just got to come here and click on some numbers. So here on the Predefined Scans page, you've got a couple of different things. You can actually even search for symbols, which is pretty cool. If you want to search for a symbol that is triggering, see sort of what predefined scans it's been triggering, you can actually enter that right here. But you've got a couple of different tables that you can come and view. Now, you can use this actually as its own resource. It's always kind of interesting to compare some of these numbers. So for instance, today we're looking at new 52-week highs. We've got 332 new 52-week highs. we've got only 190 new 52-week lows. We can see we've got actually more new 52-week highs than new 52-week lows today. So you can actually use this as an interesting indicator, kind of compare and contrast some of these different numbers between the bullish scans and the bearish scans. But to click into any of these results, all you've got to do is click on one of these numbers. Now, you've also got numbers on the right, which kind of makes it a little bit more granular. So the numbers on the left are going to be sort of for everything. We're not saying within this specific group what's making a new 52-week high, for instance. But the numbers on the right will actually get into those specific groups. So if you wanted to see new 52-week highs within the NASDAQ, all you've got to do is click that 42 right there in the NASDAQ column. You can see mutual funds making new 52-week highs. You can see Amex symbols making new 52-week highs. Stocks in the NYSE making new 52-week highs. And you can do that for any of these predefined scans that we have created on this page. So there is a ton here, even down into P&F patterns. One that I like to use a lot is the P&F triple top breakout. That's kind of a go-to for me. I always find interesting things coming out of that scan. And it's very, very easy to run any of these. So let's do we'll do that P&F triple top breakout. To see that in, for instance, the NASDAQ, we can click that 48. And here we go. We're now looking at scan results for that predefined scan. We have, in essence, run a scan. We didn't have to write the custom syntax for it. Didn't have to go worrying about getting the criteria and all that stuff. We just came to the predefined scans page and we ran that. We got the results right back. So now from here, you can really do anything that you want. You can even come in here and merge these into a chart list, replace a chart list with them, store them in a new chart list. You can save these results to really start to work with those scan results. One of the cool things you can also do with this page, though, in addition to, by the way, clicking on any of these names or any of these tools, you can actually pull up charts for any of these as you can do with kind of any of our data table pages. You can always click into one of these to get a chart. But there's a link up here in the top right corner, which I also want to highlight today. This says, click here to edit this scan. So when you give that a click, what it's going to do is open up the advanced scan workbench with the syntax, the sort of scan code for that predefined scan. So you can use the predefined scans page as sort of an indicator comparing some of those numbers. You can use it as a tool to find new stocks by clicking into the numbers and actually running some of those scans. But you can also use the predefined scans page to help you build your own scans. So once you do this, you can save this as its own scan. You can add additional syntax to it. You can really start to kind of modify this and make it your own. One of the other things that you can do is copy and paste some of those different syntaxes together to create, for instance, stocks that have triggered a P&F triple top breakout to a new 52-week high. That's one that I always love to play with. So you've got lots and lots of different options for kind of using this predefined scans page. But one that I definitely want to make sure everyone is aware of is that you can use that predefined scans page to actually start to build your own custom scans. Just run one of those, look for that little link in the top right corner. That's going to help you get up and running with your own custom scans in no time. So with that, we are on to our fifth and final favorite feature for today's show. We're going to talk about the ticker cloud. I teased that a little bit earlier when we were looking at the dashboard. We'll show you how to get to this in a couple of different ways. We'll actually go to the charts and tools page first, and we'll scroll down here to the ticker cloud. So under reports and more, you'll see there is a card for the ticker cloud. Now here's the description of it. The quick description, it's 200 of the most popular symbols from our users, from StockCharts users, in real time, really kind of over the last 15 minutes. So when you launch this page, you see a big list of ticker symbols. Now, they are sized according to their popularity. So depending on the number of requests that we're getting for these symbols, the size of the symbol is going to change. So something that's really small, for instance, like MS, that's going to be pretty small. Apple, always a very, very popular one on the site. So that is always up in the top left and always a pretty big one because we get tons and tons of requests for Apple. What's interesting about this, though, is that you can watch this page and see what's getting bigger, see what's coming onto the page, see how things are kind of changing. So, for instance, one that caught my eye today was Crocs, the company that makes those funky rubber shoes. Crocs, actually a pretty big symbol here on the ticker cloud today. So that one caught my eye. So I can give Crocs a click and we can see, wow, an incredibly strong trender here from Crocs. Must have just had a big earnings report or something coming out. I think it had a big day yesterday. But so Crocs has kind of popped up on my radar because it was an entry on the ticker cloud that I hadn't seen before. So this ticker cloud can be a really fun way to actually find symbols that are kind of gaining traction. A couple other ones that caught my eye, something like Affirm, also a pretty big one. So we can click into that. We can see Affirm has really just been spiking, kind of on its way up to new highs after its IPO earlier this year. So an interesting one that's gaining some popularity among StockCharts users, and we can see that reflected here in the ticker cloud. So the ticker cloud, I find, is a very, very fun way to kind of track what's popular. It's almost a bit of a kind of a sentiment indicator, if you will, for individual securities. There are some things, like I said, that are kind of always on here. For instance, we always have a lot of the sector ETFs. You can see those down at the bottom, those XLE, XLF, XLK, some of those sectors that we were looking at earlier. We've always got things like VTI and Apple on here. IWM, always a popular one, Amazon as well. But it's really interesting to spend a little bit of time sort of pouring through this, seeing what's new, seeing what catches your eye, seeing what you say, hey, I don't know what that symbol is, but it's got a really big size to it. What is that? What is PLTR? Maybe you're not familiar with Palantir. So you see that one's kind of a big one. So you jump into there, you can see, ooh, Palantir. Okay, that's gaining some popularity with StockCharts users. Interesting stuff. Maybe I'll add that to my watch list or kind of keep it around in the back of my brain. So lots of things you can do here with the ticker cloud. Always a fun page. I want to show you, though, how you can do even more with this ticker cloud, because you can add it to a couple of different parts of StockCharts. So we're actually going to jump back to the dashboard. We'll head over to there, and you can see, this is where I teased the ticker cloud a little earlier. I actually have the ticker cloud on my dashboard. So again, a great kind of stock picking resource, finding things that are gaining traction among users. To add this to your dashboard, any of the data panels on your dashboard, all you've got to do is open up that little more link, click ticker cloud, and that's going to pull this up. So I love to have this on my dashboard because, again, as I said earlier, I've got kind of the market level, then I've got the sector level. I'm going into the sector summary, seeing what's going on with those different sectors of the market. Then I'm kind of drilling down into the stock level. I've got the large caps here with the S&P 500, the mid caps with the S&P 400, and then I've got some of those other popular stocks that might be kind of popping up on my radar here with the sort of the mini ticker cloud on the dashboard. So I personally love to add that to my view. You might find some interest in adding that ticker cloud to your dashboard sort of group of panels there. But there's one other one that we want to highlight as well, which is actually within ACP. So we're going to jump over to ACP very quickly before we wrap up today's show. Here we are in ACP, of course, our interactive advanced charting platform. And over on the right side of the screen, you might see an icon that looks a little bit familiar. We've got a little cloud icon. So we've added all of these different views on the right side of ACP to kind of really bring in some of those other features. Things like scans, which, by the way, you can actually run all those predefined scans right here in ACP. We've got all those different groups. You can see bullish technical indicators, bearish technical indicators, all of that stuff right in here for you. So predefined scans actually is another one that's been built into ACP. But we've got alerts and the market summary. We've got the market movers group. We've got scooters. We've got the whole scooter rank in here, so you can pour over the scooter ranks. But the last one in that group is that ticker cloud. So again, a great kind of stock picking resource as you're just kind of going through the markets, trying to look for new opportunities, new stocks and funds that you might want to buy. The ticker cloud can be a great resource for things that are kind of gaining traction among users. The nice thing here in ACP is that ticker cloud is right next to your charts. So when you click something like Affirm, you're instantly going to get a chart for that, but the ticker cloud kind of stays up there for you. We can pull up Crocs again. Let's pull that one up. Here we can see there's that kind of big earnings pop. Must have been an earnings pop there for Crocs. Big day yesterday. But all of these symbols here, you can click on any of them to quickly pull up a chart right in the middle of ACP. And I find that this is actually the best place to use the ticker cloud. I love the integration here into ACP. Makes the ticker cloud even more powerful. Really, being able to see some of this stuff kind of right there for you. Here's Palantir, the one we were looking at earlier, and just being able to kind of breeze through this whole ticker cloud right there next to your charts. I find that makes it really, really fly. So that is our fifth and final favorite feature of today's show, the ticker cloud. And that one kind of fun because you can access it in a couple of different places, the standalone page, the dashboard, now even an ACP, lots of ways to bring that ticker cloud into your approach. So I know we covered a ton on today's show. We've covered a ton over the last 3 episodes, highlighting 5 favorite features of Sharp Charts, 5 favorite features of ACP, and then 5 favorite features around the rest of StockCharts. Hopefully you've had a good time over these last couple episodes, sort of seeing some different corners of the site, seeing some of the things that I use in my own approach, and having some fun just kind of breezing through lots of different areas of StockCharts, seeing how you can bring some of these tools into your use of the StockCharts feature set. So if you didn't catch those last 2 episodes that we did on Sharp Charts and ACP, remember, go back and check those out. We will put some links down in the description below, make that a little easier to find for you. But we really kind of did the same thing with Sharp Charts specifically, and then ACP specifically. So today, kind of looking at the rest of the site, covering the sector summary, some of those chart list features, predefined scans, and of course, wrapping up with that ticker cloud. 5 of my favorite features around the rest of StockCharts. I want to thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of StockCharts in Focus. As always, remember that we do this every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on StockCharts TV, but also open our YouTube channel after that and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. Remember, we will put those links in the description below to the last couple episodes of the show, but hopefully you got something out of today and you'll be back next Friday for another edition of StockCharts in Focus. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. Thank you again for being with me today. Thank you, of course, for using StockCharts, being with us here on the site. I will see you very soon, but until then, chart on, my friends.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.